to another episode of Couch Comics and Commentary here at the Dragon's Lair. We went long-winded on the last one. We wanted everybody to take a break, but we're here to do this last video before everything pushes out to the new year. We're talking about all the new comics that are coming out, plus new key books that we got in our collection this past year, which is a lot of cool things.
Bernie's show and tell is what we like to call that.
I guess we can. So we're gonna start with Smitty. You can tell your favorite books that you got this year.
Okay. So this year, two books that meant a lot to me, and they're not really huge keys, but they mean a lot to me because number one, I got them for presents, and number two, that they were signed by some pretty incredible people. So the two books I got were actually for my birthday and for Christmas from the B-Man. And both of them were actually signed by George Perez, who...
No, the second one wasn't.
The second one was not, that's true. The first one was signed by George Perez. It was a new Teen Titan.
George Perez and Marv Wolfman.
Marv Wolfman. And amazing book. You know, obviously not a huge key, but when it comes down to it, the book itself being signed, we all know, and we all are putting our prayers out for George Perez.
Yes, for sure.
Who went on Facebook saying that he had pancreatic cancer, and
they gave him 6 months to a year.
They gave him 6 months to a year. He said he wasn't going to go through treatment and wasn't going to fight it.
No, he wants to share as much time with his loved ones, especially his wife Carol. You guys who know me, or if you don't know me, I'm one of George Perez's personal friends. I'm happy to and honored to say that. I spent a lot of time with him in the 90s. I was part of what they called the George Perez posse, which was named by Rob Liefeld, named that because he saw us at the convention, and he's talking to George, and it was actually pretty cool because that was actually when he was trying to make up to George for some things that went on, and he looked over at us and he goes, "George, is that your posse?" So that's actually kind of cool. But man, prayers for George.
For sure. He's a great guy.
When you meet him, he's genuine. He's a legend, but he's genuine. A lot of comic guys, they love comic books,
but they don't necessarily love comic fans.
Yes, and they don't because they talk about the same things over. George will talk about the same thing over and over, and he's just a wonderful human being, and that's what we're going to be missing when it's time, which I'm hoping it's not anytime soon.
No.
I remember, it's funny, I was sitting down with George, we were doing lunch down in Florida, and we were sitting there talking, and George goes, "So Bernie, what kind of books do you like?" And I'm like, I don't like. I said, I don't like space books. I like sci-fi. I don't like this. I don't like teen books unless they're really good. I don't like this. And he looks at me and goes, "Those are everything Crimson Plague is."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And I said, "Well, they got to be done good, George." And I said, "I know you're going to do a great job." So we laughed about that. So the book set.
I mean, the book means a lot to me. It's something that'll never go anywhere. That the books that mean the most to me are books that are giving or that you get that you absolutely, no matter what the price is, you would just never get rid of that book, right? And I can't say there's a lot of collectors anymore that would just say, "I don't care what you give me, I will never get rid of that book," right? And those are two of the books that'll never go anywhere. They'll be passed down from me to my daughters and on and on and on. I hope, but those probably mean the most to me. I will say that
the second book you got, which was
the second book I got was. I'm sorry, Bert. I'm totally drawing a blank.
It was
I'm thinking about George Perez.
Batman 497.
Yes.
The Breaking of the Bat.
The Breaking of the Bat, with Bane, Breaking of the Bat. It actually still had the little insert on it too, which is even better. The outside piece. So that was awesome. When it comes down to it, if you have books in your collection that you just simply cannot get rid of, obviously those mean the most to you. And those mean a lot to me. It's been a crazy year for a lot of people, and I think that the shop has thrived. The shop has done great things. So those are my two. I'm digressing because I'm getting all choked up about books. All right, so over to you, Mike.
Two books that I like this year that, just like Smitty said, regardless of the value, I probably will never get rid of, was my Edge of Spider-Verse 2. I got the variant, the Greg Land variant. My hat goes off to David for getting rid of that book and selling it to me. He already knows. I can't thank him enough. I got it for a really good price. That was like my all-time key. I've been looking for that book forever.
That was your grail.
And that is my grill, 100%.
And while we're on camera, I will apologize to you now again for when you did your cool video for having Ryder put the little stuff at the end.
I know. But
I apologize for that. I was having fun from the hospital.
I was mad, bro.
I heard.
We watched the video at the end. We're like, what the fuck?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. But
it was a joke. It was a good joke.
It's okay. I mean, it's all right.
It was.
I
You know what? Mike texted me. He was like, "Do you still have the video edited? And like, can you crop the end part out?"
Bernie had to always show off there. I can't compete. We can't compete with Bernie.
I was like, no, I
is,
don't. He's like, oh, well, can you delete it? I was like,
the advantage of owning a comic
the advantage, right? Like the privilege.
So
when books come in, he gonna get first pick.
So obviously, and this is something that really you and Keith Carter and all these other guys, dude, my collection pretty much was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Kind of forced him to get good.
Yeah, you guys did. You really did. After all these years of having comics come in, it was either, eat, sell them and eat, or keep them.
That's right.
And
keep them and not eat.
Yeah, exactly.
So you see what happened when you get good team behind you?
You're right.
You can
You're
keep
right.
books.
You're right.
But we were talking about my books.
Is it-
So my obviously my grail of all time, it's Edge of Spider-Verse 2. And then my second favorite book, it's Spider-Man 121. Y'all seen the video many times of the 6.0.
winning.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer. Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost.
No, 6.0 to 5 to 4.5.
So that's CGC at their best.
That's CGC going.
Pretty much, right? And again, David was the one who sold me the 9.2. So those are two books in my collection that I can honestly say they will never leave my collection. And a lot of people be like, oh, but you being a turtle guy, what about your Turtles #1? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, those Turtles #1, hey man, if any book in my collection right now has to go, they will go. But that Edge of Spider-Verse #2, it's by far my favorite.
Yeah.
That book ain't going nowhere. Not now, not never. So those are my two books.
Those are good ones.
Those are my two books. Everybody knows I love Gwen. Everybody knows. So.
And you have the actual ASM 31.
Yeah.
First appearance of Gwen.
You got many of those. Haven't you got 3 or 4 of those?
I got 3.
That's the first Harry Osborn and the first Gwen Stacy.
So I always pick my 121 because my 121 was the first Spider-Man key book I ever had.
And the death.
So that we thought was gonna get a 9.2.
Yeah. So that was like my first. Oh shit! That's the book that cracked the collect Spider-Man keys.
Yep.
So that's why it's like.
And you haven't stopped. ASM's keys are still going.
I have not stopped. So that cracked the box open.
5 or 6 ASM 194s, First Black Cat.
6.
Right? Yeah.
The 210. The 210.
The 210 Madam
He's
Web.
waiting for Madam Web. She better be in the new
How about
Spider-Man.
11 210s?
Hey, if
But 210
Black
is a cheap
Cat
book.
and Madam Web show up in the same movie, Mike Trench.
I'm buying the comic shop. But yeah, those were my 2 books that I got this year that I'm not gonna get rid of.
There you go. Bernie, show and tell.
show and tell. Says I'm the only one who brought the books, like we
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah.
We talked about it in the little chat, and they forgot the books.
I remember that.
I don't
Well-
know what he's talking about.
I don't know what he's
Yeah.
talking
I was
about.
actually drunk.
Yeah. I think I was
So,
too, actually.
so at the beginning of the year, I thought, man, you know, the book I'm looking for is Amazing Spider-Man number 14, the first Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I had put Spider-Man number 1 out of the picture because it got to be too much money, and I was like, man, I'm not spending.
I'm looking for Spider-Man 14, so I'm just gonna go ahead and buy Spider-Man 1.
No, he got 14 too.
So basically, it was Amazing Spider-Man number 14 is what I was looking for because that's what we were going with, and so I was like, let me see what I can do. And you know, of course, I came out. I had COVID, and I came out, and we had.
Did you know he had COVID back in February?
Yeah, legitimately had COVID and hospitalized for 17 days.
It's not fun.
While these guys
Not at
took
all.
over the store and made it better. So, for sure. But we were talking about the book. That's the book I was looking for. And we David said he might have had one, stuff like that. And it so happened the Abbey collection came in with another
Thank
another
God for the
batch
Abbey
that
collection.
came from I guess New Jersey, where her father-in-law was. And she sent me a message and says,
Abby, if you're watching, just know that most of the books that you brought in stayed between us.
Yes.
We kept them.
So the 14, she says, I got this book, and she's like, I think I'm gonna get it graded.
We should have sold them, but we didn't.
We didn't.
And she sent the picture. I go, oh my God, that's the book I've been looking for. And she's like, you know what? We'll sell it to you. So I did get the 14, got it graded, and came back a 7.0.
It's a great
it was a great
grade.
grade. It was a great
I
grade.
mean, you're talking a book, what, 1964 or 5?
1964.
64, yeah.
First appearance of Green Goblin. Of course, he's my favorite villain of Spider-Man. And so I was going to be happy with that. I was like, oh, yeah, let's go with Spider-Man.
John Romita.
Spider-Man number 14.
John Romita Sr., by the way. Just wanna
Yep,
put that in.
for sure. And, that's still Steve
That's
Ditko.
Steve Ditko. Yeah.
So, you know, I was happy with that. And then comes the Fayetteville Comic-Con. And we go to Fayetteville Comic-Con, and we're there, and I see a Spider-Man number 1. I see an Amazing Spider-Man number 1. And it's a 3.0. I'm like, man, the guy won like 15 grand for him. Like, even for a guy who sells comics, that's just high.
That is high for it.
So
That's high for
I
anybody.
said, hey man, would you like to trade? His name Rick. Would you like to trade? He was with Chris Voss. He's like, what do you got? And I said, well, I've got a bunch of books.
I got a comic book store.
I'll
Take it out.
I'll bring them, you know, and you could go for things. He goes, all right, I'll think about that. You know, he goes, yeah, just bring them and let me see. And it was you.
The funny story, I go and see, oh snap, he got an ASN number 1. Let me look at it. You know, I just wanted to look at it. And he was like, oh, it's not for sale. I'm trading. I'm trading somebody already. And I was like,
You knew.
let me guess. Short Asian guy, red and black hair. He was like, yeah. How do you know?
So
That's my friend.
Yeah.
We're looking for one.
so the rest of the story is we finish the show. I go home and I'm really not like feeling it. I'm like, man, I don't know when I would give up. I don't know. I don't know if I will do it. I'm like, I didn't go to where my collection is. And then, I said, you know what? Let me text. I'm gonna text Ryder, and I find these books. It was a Fantastic Four, 48, 49, 50. Some other ones I just texted him. I
You
said,
had a 52 in there too.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
you?
you had 52.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
sent him a bunch
Yeah.
of things, and Ryder got them all. I said, bring him to the convention. So I brought him to the convention. At the beginning of the convention, so I'm like, okay, well, I said, kind of, here's what I got, and I said, they're high grade, the first
yeah.
Silver Surfer and stuff like that. So he's looking at them, and he was interested, and it was kind of cool because
That's when Bernie started trapping his pants.
I was like, oh shit, I'm getting Spider-Man number 1. And so I ended up trading him, and it was funny because Chris Voss, I love Chris Voss, but he's an old school tiger. He'll freaking go. You can get this, and so Rick comes to me afterwards. He says to me, he goes, Bernie, he goes, I know I could have probably got these other books from you. He goes, but I didn't want to do that. And you don't see this often. He goes, I wanted to be fair. He goes, the biggest thing for me is the look in your eyes, the excitement you got in your eyes when you got it. He goes, that was all for me. And what's cool about this, Rick is just trying to he's trying to get these books and sell these books so he can help his daughter who has a disabled son. So it's actually really cool value to do this for his family. So yes, I did finally get the Amazing Spider-Man #1, 3.0. Pretty cool. Well, Mike got it. Mike took a picture with it too.
It's an expensive book.
Because Mike,
that's the book.
you know, so it would.
The only thing better that he's got to get now is the Amazing Fantasy.
And that's what, and
15.
it's done. That's for sure done. Since that one sold for like $3 million, everyone sells for a minimum of $20,000, and you know, so I'm happy with that. Getting this was almost like a win for all of us. You know, Mike was excited to hold it in his hand.
This is the thing. Yeah.
I
mean, I was so happy about Bernie getting this book because 2 years ago, Bernie didn't keep books. Like he was saying, he would sell everything.
Yeah.
Then he went through the COVID thing. You know, it was a rough time. So this was like a trophy. Like, you deserve this. You earned this.
Right.
And we all kind of helped. Like, if without Smitty, without Quincy, without Ryder.
Yeah.
Shit, Ryder was the key guy.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, because
Absolutely.
we were the friends from the store, but he was the register man. He was the one that counted the money. He was the one that kept the money. He was there, everything.
And B2,
You know?
Nick
So-
helped as well.
Everybody. Well, when you were sick, I'm saying like
They were out too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just Ryder, you know. So everybody kind of like helped Bernie get this. So when Bernie got it, everybody's like, "Holy shit, he got it!" Like it was a really good moment. It was a really happy moment for me to know that my friend got the book that he wanted the most. So that's why I was so happy about it, because I was like, shit. That it was like, you're happy like you're getting it, like. No,
We all kind of got it.
Yeah.
We all
I was
kinda got it.
like, it's community. It's community.
So this leads in pretty good to our New Year's resolutions
Yeah.
for next year.
Uh-oh.
All right,
You got
so
one
let's
more
talk-
book? What do
oh,
you
we
got? Another
more?
You got one
You got
more
one
book
more
in
down
there?
there?
Yeah,
All right.
it's one that I like getting books that I've never had before. And after all this time, I finally got one, which is the Iron Man 55, first appearance of Thanos. Of course, it kind of went down, but what kind of makes it special, of course, is the first appearance of
The multiverse, you never know. He could be back.
Yep, Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah, it could be.
And definitely, it's the first appearance of Star Fox, which at the end of the Eternals, Star Fox appeared, which was Harry Styles, which I think that they're gonna, he's very popular.
We'll see.
So, but I was happy to get that because I never had one before.
Yeah.
It's signed by Stan Lee.
That's awesome.
So we're talking about.
Yeah, New Year's resolution. So I'll let you guys want to go first.
Well, you
or-
because
Yeah,
we don't.
I
I don't know what
All right. So I'm
Resolution
thinking.
night.
I'm not thinking personal resolution. I'm thinking like what we're gonna do here, right? Like resolutions for the shop.
Okay.
So one of the things I'm excited about is I think we have the opportunity this year to really kind of rebrand the shop. About what we're gonna have, what we're gonna do, and how we're gonna do it. So, if anything, this has always been a comic store. It'll always be a comic store. Always be a comic store. Number one, we will sell comic books. But we're getting in a position where we're doing pretty good. I think we're doing pretty well business wise in the shop. And Bernie and I talked about having a little bit more manga and some more pops and toys and things that really make this not just a comic book experience, but a pop culture experience.
But like,
and I think that's going to be a great thing. We're already doing a lot of that.
If for those that had the opportunity to come here, or local customers, 2 years ago there was not a single toy in here. There was like maybe a few toys that came with the previews or a few like previous exclusive pops, but this was mostly a comic book store and a statue store.
Right.
In the last 2 years, we kind of moved in a little bit into more toy. Now we got like a little toy
Pokemon.
corner. Chris with the Pokemon cards and the sports cards.
He's not gonna take credit. Mike is the one who brought toys in here. I give you the credit on that. So
I mean,
But
I didn't do it for me.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
but
with-
I'm saying, but you brought it into so what happened was when COVID hit in 2019, we had to find ways
We have to open different doors.
Yeah, we had to open different doors. We had to move product and you know, we did. These guys came in here and said, "Hey, let's do this." And any ideas were just open because for so long I had to put everything on my shoulders and had to think, how can I do this? And these guys came in here and just basically opened up and gave the suggestions, and they're great suggestions. So you know, as far as that goes, man, I've always thought of it as bringing my managers in was I always wanted ideas, and what kind of ideas, and you guys matched up with all the ideas that I had, so it helped. We've got the front of the store and we get the back of the store, and we've just expanded. So my thing is what we're talking about doing other stuff, and CGC's kind of trying to force his hand.
Oh, God.
So
don't get me started on CGC. Right?
so
Yeah.
CGC, even though they're behind in things,
They continue to put it right in our rear end.
yeah. So this year we're going to be doing our best, our very best, and if we make it, we don't. But if we don't, we're gonna have fun doing it. Our last year, so to keep our facilitator status going, as far as going to being a CGC facilitator, store signings or any kind of signature series, we have to submit 600 books.
That's what CGC is
in
just put out.
2022. So we may not hit it, but we're gonna.
Can we just talk about the fact that those assholes
Well,
are making it impossible for
us,
local
for
comic
small
shops, for
comic
smaller
shops.
comic shops,
I will
to keep
I-
our facilitator status.
I will
And
agree.
it's garbage.
I will agree because
Absolute
when
garbage.
it first happened, when they first started this program, it was supposed to be so stores could have those store signings and
Right.
go to facilities and do private signings. The first guy that I met who was in charge, he told me about the program. I said, "Oh man, it's great." He goes, so if you go down to see George, you can do a private signing with him. Now it's becoming those guys who already
but-
do it for
Yeah,
for
but
business.
it's
They're making it
600
easier
books.
for like Midtown, Torpedo,
Yeah.
those kind of big metropolitan areas.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
But in Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, North Carolina,
Yeah.
So,
come on,
but
CGC.
see, our goal, no matter what it is we're going to try to get this done. So, I want to do more shows. We talked about opening up to doing shows.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not just going to be doing shows to sell product. Now it's going to be goals to set stuff up where you guys can come to us and you can't make it to a show. So we're going to go get you something signed by Jim Lee or Joe Quesada or
Right.
George Perez. So those are the avenues that I'm willing to open up.
Or
this
Eric
year.
Claus.
essentially what you're saying is we are now opening it up to where we'll do the traveling for you
Yes.
if you want your book signed.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So, you know.
We're gonna have to.
That's
We're
what we're
gonna
going to work on.
If
So,
we want to do 600 books, we have to.
so besides expanding to more pop culture, we're going to expand this part of the business as well. So those are my goals for 2022.
See the Dragon's Lair in all conventions and comic book shows in North Carolina.
Yes, for sure. If
That's-
you don't want to
that's
wait in
for
those
sure.
long CGC lines, we will get it done
See
for
us.
you.
Yeah.
We can even witness it for you.
So let's talk about top books for the year that you guys have read, or series really. Let's say runs and series that have come out that you guys this year have just been like, wow,
So
this
I'm
run or this series is so good.
So I want to pick one. I want to pick one from DC and one from Marvel, and I'll probably pick one from Indie. So my DC top run, you got it there. It's the Batman Catwoman. That I have not read another series from DC that kind of hooked me like this one. This book it's I know y'all waiting for it. It's amazing. Like
It's amazing.
I love everything about it. I love the storytelling about it. I love that they put a spin to the story where everybody always think that Batman or the Joker were the ones controlling Gotham.
That's all you have to say about this book.
It's
Tom
really
King.
it's Tom King did a phenomenal job
an
explaining
amazing
how
writer.
Batman is not the one in charge.
No.
Joker is also not the one in charge. It's been Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
It is feminism
It is.
at its best.
But I don't see it that way, right?
yeah.
Like
But
she is a powerful one.
She is, but you know what? It's funny because I think what's funny about the whole story is she's underground. But you know what? What you realize it's Batman you.
Oh, yeah.
Batman you.
The whole
Yeah.
time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like, you keep your enemies close, keep your
Yeah. Yeah. That's why when on that book when she said, are you gonna kill me? Or she was like, are you gonna kill me? And or you gonna fuck me?
Yeah.
And then he's sitting there like he's like. And then she just goes. She's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go hang out with the Joker." I was like, "Bro, this is crazy."
Or the fact that when I guess when it was his daughter, their daughter was talking to Dick, and she asked me, "Why did you pick that one?" He goes, "Because you could have any." He goes, "Well, she is the garden." He said, "She is the garden." He knew. He knew.
Oh, he knew the whole time.
When it came down to it, it was just one of those books that.
It's not even over, is it?
No, it's not even over. But I feel like you could pick it up from like issue 2 or 3 and still kind of know what's going on.
Since we're at DC, let's go to stay with it. So my favorite DC, I would say, is kind of right up there with that. I've loved Nightwing. Nightwing has been phenomenal. Tom Taylor has made me a believer. Tom Taylor has made me a believer of his writing. I had a friend Tyler who said, "Man, blah, blah, he's one of my favorite writers." I followed him. When I read it, I was like, "Man, this the first issue when he took over, I was like, this is freaking phenomenal."
Yeah.
And then it was like, he put all these like little homages in there. He put the homage of George Perez and Marv Wolfman in there. Even had the pictures of, had them drawn in there. It's actually pretty cool. So Tom Taylor has done a great job on Nightwing. That's been my favorite DC book. Just a little bit over the Batman Catwoman.
Yeah.
So that's what I've done. How about you?
Well, I had 3 books that I pulled out here, and literally 2 of them they've already talked about, and I'm glad because they were phenomenal.
They were good.
But I've actually liked this Batman '89 run.
I was looking at it.
This little series here. It's I believe it's a 6-part series that they're doing, or a 6-issue series.
Do you know what's written by? Don't look at the picture. Don't you?
I don't actually.
All right, brief history. So Sam Hamm is the one who wrote Batman '89, the first one.
Oh, that's right.
So he wrote the movie. He wrote Detective Comics number 598, 599, and 600 of that time.
There you go.
So there's a little history of the
I like that. I'm a big fan of Michael Keaton as Batman, as Bernie well knows. But when it came, when the movie came out, obviously, it was the first comic book movie that I've ever seen as a kid. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I saw Superman 7, the original Superman.
But I'm older than you, so but see, I'm older than you, so
Yeah.
So you actually then more Batman is yours. Yeah,
Batman
so,
is more mine because I was born in '76. I wasn't born in 62 or
69. So
65.
Batman when Batman 78 came out, I was like, I was like 8
You
years
were
old.
already
Oh,
eight,
man. Okay, I'm super.
Bernie was in college when Batman.
Yeah.
The Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I was about to be actually.
So I was a big fan of the movie, and when the book came out, I was a little skeptical because I was like, oh God, what are they going to do? But then I started reading the series, and it's really good. I like the way they're reinventing new characters that we would have never seen in the movie, right? That's what I didn't want it to be.
I guess so.
I didn't want it to be a rehash of the movie. And they're introducing a new Robin.
Well, it's kind of
and-
cool that they had the guy who wrote it,
Mhm.
the first one, continue
Yeah.
the series. He had a lot of these ideas.
So, phenomenal series so far. I think we're on number 4. So we got 2 more to go, and I think we have most of them here.
Let's check this out.
Variants, but it's a really good series.
I think my Marvel.
He goes, you guys did more because I read Marvel a lot.
So my Marvel that I kept liking, I believe it came out in 2019, but it's been the only Marvel kind of book that has me hooked, and I keep reading it. Black Cat.
21, right?
No,
It's 2021 this year, month.
29. Oh well, shit, whatever. We skipped 2020 because of COVID. But
We actually skipped 2019 because of COVID too.
Yeah. So I think the only Marvel book that I kept reading was Black Cat.
Mm-hmm.
I keep liking it. Every issue, it's a good issue. So that's like they did so
You're
much.
hoping she comes to the MCU.
Dude, if
Yeah.
you see me driving a Corvette here, you know that
Hey,
that she's
someone
been
out in
announced.
Means he sold his Dodge coin to buy. Finally.
So yeah, I've been liking from all the Marvel books that came out this year. I've been stuck on the Black Cat.
Good.
That'll be my Marvel pick
All right.
for the year.
My Marvel pick is going to be, we're going to hang with that. Shang-Chi, of course. Shang-Chi has been a phenomenal book.
Predictable.
It was actually predictable. This is one of the only Marvel books I'm reading.
Really
It's good.
biased.
That one, actually, it's between that and Black Widow. Both those books have been really phenomenal.
I've heard a lot of things about Black Widow.
Both,
I should read it.
I would say both those books have been really good. I'm going to go with my number one in the movies. I would say those two have been just really good reads. The beautiful Adam Hughes covers by in the Black Widows, they've just been phenomenal. But the story is actually really cool, and it also has Elena in it, so it's actually pretty cool. Shang-Chi, he leading from his miniseries going into his regular series, he becomes the head of the clan of the fists of the different clans, and it's funny because they're known as being evil, so he's trying to do good things from that in and trying to change it within. So it's actually been really good, and it just matched up pretty good with the Shang-Chi movie which came out, which was I think my second favorite MCU movie that came out this year for sure. But as far as that goes, those two books have been phenomenal this year. If you have not read them, I recommend checking them out. Of course, they're probably some come out with trades already, so check them out. I guess the last thing is the Independence. I'm just gonna say Something is Killing the Children, leading into the House Slaughter has just been phenomenal. Tinya has killed it this year. Made me a believer when I finally read the number one. I was like, where's the rest?
Who also wrote Batman.
Yes, who wrote Batman, exactly.
Yeah.
But he's basically just taken the indies by storm. Those two books have just been on fire. Not just because value-wise, when something is good, it's gonna finally get out. It's gonna come out. And it took me the 8th printing for me to check it out. And when I read it, I was like, where's the rest? And it was so funny. Everybody here did the same thing who checked it out. And all of a sudden, we're telling everybody we sold over 20-something trade paperbacks of Volume 1 and 2 and 3. And man, it's just been good leading House Slaughter.
I've been telling everybody to read it since
day
day one.
I didn't get to do my Marvel book.
You said you didn't have a Marvel book.
Yes, I do have
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marvel book.
So we'll go back to Smitty and do his Marvel book.
Daredevil. The Daredevil run from about 25
When he took a vacation.
has been good.
Yeah.
Right? They actually put, Matt Murdock in prison. Elektra became Daredevil. This latest run kind of reminds me like a Frank Miller Daredevil run.
Okay.
Almost. So it really does. From 25 on. Now, I can say the beginning of the run, I didn't really like it very much, but then towards 25 and on, it's been getting better and better and better and better. Reminds me a lot of the Frank Miller runs. You guys should check it out.
Cool.
It's a good run. Cool. But anyway, back to indies on you.
My indie, I like the Me You Love in the Dark. It was Scotty Young's book. It's really different. I like it a lot, but I have to give it to The Last Ronin. The Last Ronin.
Surprise.
I mean, regardless
I
of
knew
me.
we were going to hear it.
Wait. So a couple months ago, I stopped reading because he told me it sucked. It was the issue.
I just
with
said
that.
one issue. Issue 3 got rushed. I've been saying it. Issue 3 got rushed. They killed 2 characters on the same issue. They should have done that. So, but the story overall, it's good. The only thing I didn't like is I waited 3 months.
Yeah.
For issue 3, and then they kill Leo and Splinter. Not Leo.
Man, I'm not gonna read it now.
Spoiler. It's not like you had 8 months to read it.
Hey man,
It ain't no spoiler. You had 8 months. Issue 5 don't come till next year.
But you know what's funny was that nobody has told me that they died in that issue. I haven't heard that issue, but
I've been saying it since the
you told me it
the
sucked.
day after.
You told me it sucked. He was horrible.
Mine is Nocterra.
Nocterra's really good too.
I like the Nocterra
Nocterra's
book.
really good too.
Nocterra was good.
Scott Snyder, right? Scott Snyder, I believe, is writing
Another one?
Nocterra. And
It's been optioned for a Netflix show.
Yeah, it's been optioned, but I'll be honest, I could care less about the option and all of that stuff.
For sure.
More than anything, it's about the story.
It's a good book. It's a good story.
And, I've seen a lot of apocalyptic books and, different scenarios and what happened. A lot of people are writing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this one just kind of caught me just because of the character development, right? It's one of those books in issue 1 that was really quick hitting.
Yeah.
But then they do what a lot of good books do, and they go back and they start telling you the backstory, what happened, and developing characters, and some of the stuff that Quincy likes to talk about when it comes to developing characters and things like that. And they did a great job on it, I think, and the run is still good.
Yeah.
The run is still good. So
It's really good.
definitely check it out. Not Terror's a good
Another one that came out this year that was really
we
really
only do
good.
one.
Oh, okay, cool.
No,
No
go
matter.
ahead.
Another one that really came out that I really enjoyed a lot was Basilisk.
Basilic.
Basilisk was really good.
I didn't read that one.
It's they're like some gods came from the mountain, and then they just
They were at the beginning of the year.
messing everything up.
Again, at the beginning of the
Kinda.
year, there were a lot of indies that came.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one by Gary Frank and Jeff Johns. I can't even remember what the name of it is now.
What was it about?
The dude who gets the nuclear. What was that book called?
Geiger.
Geiger, yes.
yeah.
That is a phenomenal book too. But it was funny because, like, right at the beginning of the year, a lot of indies came out, and they were
all
really good.
All good.
And then all of a sudden, like I predicted, they just start getting people just start throwing stuff out there, and then all of a sudden it was
the
like
one with
yeah.
Al Capone's doctor.
A Shadow Doctor.
Shadow Doctor was
Yeah.
really good. The first few issues were really really good.
Yeah, it's one of those you got to be careful, right? Because in the comic world, as an owner, you've got to order so far ahead now
Yeah.
that you don't know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. And yes, you predicted it. That the indies are starting to kind of.
Yeah. All right, so let's close the video up.
Yeah.
I guess I want to wish all you guys a great 2022. I want to put 2021 in the back. I went through some tough times, but I thank all of your support from all you and these guys especially for helping me through all this stuff. COVID is a real thing. I will tell you that right now. It has its moments for different people, and I don't wish it on anybody.
No.
Maybe someone get hit by a car before it's inside joke. So anyways, but yeah, guys. So I hope you guys have a wonderful 2022. We love you guys. Thank you for everything. It's all about the comic community here always. And thank you guys who've donated this year to help us raise a lot of money for the Karen Channel Trust. So That's it, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.